Please, sir. It's a good car, especially for you.
This is, well, I have to come to Poland to ride in a Lexus.
Nice to see you, sir. Please fasten your seatbelt.
Okay.
Dzień dobry. Dzień dobry.
Yes.
I'm actually in awe because I'm such a huge fan of yours.
Oh.
And of course, I will ask you questions about The Sinner, especially about the third season, if it's coming or not. Is it coming?
We're shooting it right now.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yes, I had to have special consideration to come to Poland, to have the opening of the Coldest Game tonight, and it means I couldn't work today or tomorrow, and but we're in the middle. We're just beginning to start shooting the 6th episode of the 3rd season.
Oh, this is so cool. This is one of my favorite series right now on television.
So good.
Yeah.
You don't say that to everybody.
I like creepy stuff. I like
creepy.
stuff.
Yeah. It's a little bit macabre, but it's surprising what human beings are capable of, isn't it?
They're capable of everything.
Yeah.
That's just human nature. We can do whatever we want if it's good or bad. But you came to Poland to promote another movie of yours, and this is a movie that, first of all, I wanted to ask you: the Coldest Game, is it based on real events or not?
It's inspired by real events, but it because it's about a chess match that happens in an international setting, and which was quite a bit like what Bobby Fischer and Boris Spassky had in the 70s.
We couldn't follow it in Poland in the 70s because of the communist regime didn't allow us to follow the game. But I know the real game was a huge news in the West, especially in the US. It's almost like a kind of a proxy war between West and East.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, proxy war.
It was like, we don't have to fight each other, let's just play chess. Whoever wins the war.
Yeah, but couched in the language of, it doesn't matter who wins, it's just the fact that we have this communication and interaction, but in fact it was kind of important who won. And but I think also there's a great distrust that the whole thing was a bit of theater, was, and behind the scenes, other things were going on that we didn't get to know about. So this movie kind of shows what may have been the kind of other things going on.
So this is a movie about chess, obviously.
Yes.
But it's also a spy thriller. So how one makes a spy thriller about chess?
Yeah, this was kind of the challenge and also the good enticement for why I wanted to do it, because you think of chess, you don't think of fast action movie, that's
not the connection one makes with chess.
But in fact, the tension and the degree of contained energy is in chess is something that I think helped to make it cinematic. Plus, Vukash, the director, he really crafted it well and prepared well so that each of the matches are the way they're shot is so kinetic in the energy of the cameras. Kind of like your cameras here. I'm seeing.
This is the guy in charge.
This is
Dominic.
Yes. And you're editing right as we're talking?
He's not editing anything. Anything you said goes on the air.
Okay. But he's choosing which angle.
Exactly.
So he's flowing from one angle to another.
He's director of photography.
So good. I don't mean to, pull the curtain back behind the wizard. But
no, he's very famous. He's like a character of his own in the program.
This is good. But you get to drive and not kill ourselves while you're driving.
I'm a very good driver. Nothing ever happened in the program. Nothing bad ever happened.
Good. I mean, what the audience doesn't get to see is your left hand right now is resting on the steering wheel in such a familiar, comfortable way that I'm totally relaxed riding, and the fact that you're looking at me half the time.
But I'm looking at you only when we stop. I never look at you when we drive. We stop and then I can look at you.
This is.
It's a safe way to go, believe me.
Okay.
Don't worry. So do you play chess?
No, I never really thought of myself as
bridge, poker.
No, I had really never in any of those
You don't
things.
play poker? Because somehow I connect you with poker.
Maybe other people. I've been invited to play poker. Does that count?
Sure.
But
Did you ever lose money in poker?
I lost once in gambling kind of thing in a carnival, and
There
so
you go. It counts.
it makes me a little reluctant to go into those things. But there's so many things as an actor you learn how to do. You fake it as
Yeah.
best you can. Yeah.
So tell me the first time when you heard about The Coldest Game. What was the first moment you ever heard about the movie?
Well, I don't know if you had heard the story about this, but because it was never had anything like it before. Which is, I was doing a project that was just ending in Denver, Colorado, in the States, and I get a call saying, you have to read the script right away, and you have to have one conversation with the director and decide whether you're going to do it, because they need to replace an actor who broke his leg.
Huh.
And they want you to be in Poland in about 3 days. And I had scheduled quite a bit of things, I was going to go to a couple of film festivals. I had another job obligation that was small, but still they were expecting me. So I had to decide quickly, and one of the things that was important was talking to the director, and I had this phone conversation at because in Denver, Colorado, it was like 11 o'clock at night, and I think it was in the morning in Warsaw, and he needed to get his kids to school and everything, and it was under a certain time frame. But we had such a good conversation, and then I began to think about my connections and to Poland. I remember when I was in high school, there was a Joe Kamiński who was a tackle on the football team. I remember what a tough guy he was. He was like my first Pole that I got to know pretty well. And then, of course, Polish cinema was really interesting to me, and I was really interested in those Kieślowski movies, the Red, White, and Blue that were there in that period. And I did a movie with Irene Jacob, and I remember, what was it like shooting with the Poles? And she had a good report, and so I said, let's do it.
But that's not a very usual way for an actor to accept a movie in a matter of hours.
No.
So what was it? Was it the script, or was it the director who convinced you that it was going to be a good movie, or what was it? Money?
Trust.
Trust. Okay.
I think that I could, in this conversation, because I thought the script was good, but it was in English language first, and Vukash was the first person on the first thing. One of the first things he says is, "Look, I'm not the expert in English. You'll be the expert in English, so you'll never say anything that you don't believe is right."
Huh.
And that, to me, is like the most important thing. If you want to be authentic in your character and your thought, you don't want to have to spend energy trying to make wrong words.
And did you change anything? Did you say, "Oh, that's not the way to go. I should say it differently"?
Well, yeah, he set it up so he promised me we would have 3 days to go through the script before we started shooting, which I thought was really important. And, that cost money to production to say, okay, we did all this preparation with this other actor, but you want to now, we can't just go to start shooting as soon as you get here. But they knew it was going to pay off in the end to get on the same page, as they say. So that trust, I think, was what made me really want to do it.
So when have you met? Because I've listened to your speech at the festival in Poland about Piotr Starak. When have you met him? When was the the first person was the director?
First person was the director, and I had no idea what was behind the production at all. I didn't have time to investigate that. And then when we started going, I realized really it was the team that when I first landed and the pre-production started, I realized what an amazing amount of anticipation had gone into this. I had an instructor for the chess. I had an instructor for the poker game that I played. I had dancing instructions for a scene that I ended up dancing very little, but we prepared a whole dance thing that was never used. But we were just the level of production was so unusual, and that's when I met Piotr and realized that Watch Out Studios, Piotr, Christian, both were together and wanting to make this the best thing possible. And I think of Piotr, I think of enthusiasm. He was so strong in him for the project, for living, for friendship. Everything was at a level of great enthusiasm.
Is there a difference in a way that movies are shot in Poland or in Hollywood? Have you seen something that you thought, oh, that wouldn't happen that way in Hollywood?
Well,
I mean, both ways, positive, negative.
I think, one of the most extraordinary things to me was the look of this movie, and Pavel Edelman, the DP, was such a craftsman.
DP is director of photography.
Director of photography, right, yeah. So he's the one who shot the piano. He does all of Roman Polanski movies now, and he's really world-class. And Alan Starsky, who is the production designer. This was important to Piotr, to get the best team possible to make this movie. Then there's the whole fact that we're shooting in Poland, and so there's extras who look so Polish. Surprise! But, the faces are so strong here. I love the character that is in Polish people. And we got some really good faces for scenes that were, in the States you would be casting it, and I think there's especially period, people who look like they could have been, they look like you're in 1962 because the way people look is not just what the clothes they're wearing or the design, it's the casting of these people, and there's such a good looker for that.
Do you think there's a renewed interest in the Cold War stories? We see so many movies about Cold War. It's like in the 90s, there was nothing. There were no. I love this history period, and there was so many. There were no movies about Cold War in the 90s, and then suddenly we have all those new. I think it started with Spielberg movie, the Bridge of Spies.
Yeah.
But I think we see so many of them. Do you think that the young people will care about the story that's in the Coldest Game?
Well, this condition of what betrayal is, it's, I think on the espionage and spies and those kind of things are not only about infiltrating and getting information and not being detected, but usually it involves some levels of, people who are willing to betray each other. And sometimes the most thrilling thing is to be betrayed by someone that you were most intimate with. And this is something anybody who's been married understands. You understand that this will never go out of style. This is a really, I think maybe, but also the fact that how could we have guessed that we would be back in this situation where the level of interference from international on the international level is so high, and the fact that the U.S. election was jeopardized by international really spy behavior, and we're back. We're back in this situation. So I'm not sure whether anyone watching this movie will make direct parallels to now.
Oh, they will. I assure you, they will.
They should, yeah, if they're awake and thinking about things. I think that in Poland too, that all the time of being an Eastern Bloc country. This is my first time really living in a former Eastern Bloc country, And Poland, I think of as always kind of like this middle ground. As much as it was communist rule, there was still some strong connections with America through all that.
Well, there are 10 million, Americans of Polish origin living in the U.S.
Yeah.
So every one of us has someone somewhere. Grandfather, grandmother, uncle, whatever. There's so many of them, and especially in the Hollywood, there were so many Poles working in Hollywood. Like, every time I go to Hollywood, you go to Beverly Hills, and I wouldn't say you can speak Polish, but it's very easy to spot someone who speaks Polish.
Yeah. We're shooting the third season. Our sound stages are in Brooklyn, in Greenpoint,
Okay.
and this is largely a Polish community. And so while I've been telling people on the set, I'm going to Gdynia to a film festival. I'm going to Warsaw. They start looking at the newspapers that are being sold where they get their coffee, and they're all in Polish, and they never paid attention to it. But suddenly they saw some with me in it, from Gdynia. So I have them on my phone. But there was a good connection there. But I think also in terms of one word, we were in pre-production, I said,
Is it in Polish?
No, it was.
Because it's always dangerous, because usually when foreigners know one word in Polish, it's usually very dirty.
Oh,
And I want you to be very careful.
be very careful, because this is live. No matter where I look, I'm going to have a camera seeing me, so I can't bleep it in later.
Exactly.
But
don't
the
bleep
word is
anything.
simple, but it's complicated. The word complicated. When I would say, why is that building so decrepit next to this very, very strong, modern age building?
It's complicated.
Yeah,
that's
even good things. How did I get to have this car today when I didn't? I heard there were no cars available. It's complicated.
Coming back, because this is your hotel, and that's where you drop. But where I promised to drop you. But coming back to the sinner is about how life is complicated. That's the whole story. This whole series is about.
Yeah,
It's about not to make easy judgments, because everything is complicated. The cop you play, his life is complicated.
Yeah.
His cases are extremely complicated.
Yeah. Human nature.
Human nature, exactly.
And people doing things that they are not even aware of themselves.
Exactly.
All the time.
Yeah. And this is you. This is your hotel. That's why I
Yes,
dropped you.
this is me. And this is why, there's a hole in this building. And when I asked, why is there a slice out of this building? It's complicated. But it was complicated because of this building here, where these people were afraid that their sunlight would be cut out. And in Poland, there's not enough sunlight. So when a building's going to be built next to you, you might have some complaints. And so the architects just put that gap in there so the morning sun could come through. And
this is what I'm gonna tell all my friends tonight. I had an interview with Bill Pullman, and he told me something about the Warsaw I didn't know.
this is good.
Is it a good story?
Yeah, it's a good
I
story.
think so.
Yeah, I'm surprised how I have been able to learn a lot. I think because I'm curious, to see the whys of things. Why is this? Why is Poland like this?
That's probably why you're an actor, because then you get a lot of answers. Why?
Yeah. What is the source of motivation? Yeah.
Sir, thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
This
I do
was
appreciate it.
very good. Yes.
Was it safe drive?
It was safe. I thought it
You were
was
afraid a little bit.
extremely good. Yeah. I'm very impressed by the Alexis car. I'm glad you. Thank you very
I'm glad you
much.
like it.
Glad to meet all the celebrities involved with the experience, and
There you
to
go.
know that we get. It's 7:55 every morning.
7:55 live every single day.
Oh my God!
But it's not me all the time, so I hate waking up. I should be an actor.
Work at night. But
Exactly.
This is this is very good. Can I take a picture?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Of course.
Because I think this is one is really. I'm going to get a picture of your face
This is
inside
great.
the camera, and the Palace of Culture in the background. And then I get to see the left hand and the control central.
This is, I learned it in Texas.
Oh, really?
Driving a car like this.
Driving a car
like
yeah,
this.
yeah.
That's Texas style.
That's Texas style.
There you
yeah.
go.
It's when I bought my first car, was a 72 Valiant, and there was paint wore off from the elbow resting on that side of the door. Well, thank you
sir,
again.
so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a safe trip home.
Thank you. Yes.
And we're going to the
See you
movies
tonight?
on Friday.
Oh, Friday,
I didn't
yeah.
get the invitation, but I'll go to the theater on Friday.
Yeah.
And I'll see the movie with everybody else.
Ah, fantastic.
Thank you,
All right.
sir. Appreciate it.